The heaviest rainfall in more than a decade has caused deaths and flooding in Jakarta and surrounding areas in West Java. The rain began on Tuesday night and triggered landslides on the city's outskirts. Indonesia's meteorology department has called the rain very extreme. Nearly 20,000 people were stranded as Jakarta's domestic airport was shut down after its runway became submerged. People have drowned and others have died from hypothermia or been electrocuted as power supplies were damaged by the flooding. Thousands were forced to evacuate their homes. Crews are pumping out flooded areas and rescuing those who are stranded. The Indonesian Disaster Agency says the rains and rising rivers have submerged at least 90 neighborhoods. Flooding is common in Jakarta. This is monsoon season, and forecasters say more downpours are on their way. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera.
Anto, the pictures were dramatic in that report by Scott Heidler. This is some of the worst flooding that the capital, Jakarta, has seen in about 5 or 6 years. You've got family there. What are they telling you? How bad are the floods and where are the worst hit areas, briefly?
Yes, I do have a family in Jakarta. They live in East Jakarta, one of the 5 districts in the capital region. But my immediate family members, my parents and siblings, they're spared from the flooding. They've been spared in even the worst floodings that occurred in the past, the previous one in 2013. The ones who live in the different neighborhoods, unfortunately, are not so lucky. Their neighborhoods are flooded. They're still assessing the kind of floods that are engulfing the city right now, but some of the most hit areas, I would say, in the northern part of Jakarta.
So Anto, what's causing this current bout of flooding? Is it about bad water management, poor drainage, low-lying floodplains, or is it more complex than that?
It's all of the above. It's a complex issue, but as you pointed out, those 3 factors and more have been contributing to the floods. First of all, Jakarta sits on a low-lying plains and has been expanding since the city was founded several hundred years ago. And now it's a totally urban jungle, concrete cover the city in many, many places. There's less greeneries and green spaces to absorb rainwater, for example, and there's a poor drainage system. And coupled with that, many residents of Jakarta have been pumping water from underground, from the aquifer, for their water needs because the water from the main supply is still inadequate. And this led to subsidence of the city. In fact, Jakarta has been said by many experts is one of the fastest sinking city in the world. Because of that, the 13 rivers that pass through Jakarta, 2 of the big ones include Ciliwung River and Cisadane River, cannot properly drain to the Java Sea.
Let's quickly talk about the government response. What's the government doing about all of this, and can it cope with this level of natural disaster? Because these are enormous floods.
Yeah. What I've learned so far that the provincial government of Jakarta, because Jakarta it is administratively governed as a province, a special capital district, is building command posts and instructing hospitals and health clinics all over the city to help address regular issues that usually come after flooding: dengue, fever, diarrhea, all sorts of problems that come from waterborne diseases. That I know what the government is doing. I'm sure it can handle it because Jakarta has experienced this in the past, and so it has some measure of experience in mitigating the problem.
Anto MOHSIN, thank you very much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you.